crossroads of the world. Times Square is sometimes referred to as the crossroads of the world, the center of the universe, and the heart of the Great White Way. Times Square epitomizes New York City: big, chaotic, crowded, flashy, and awe-inspiring. Known as the crossroads of the world, this canyon-like space is created by the intersection of Broadway, curving westward, and 7th Avenue. Seen in photos, films, and TV, especially every New Year's Eve, it is one of the great gathering places in the world, and Times Square attractions are some of the world's most popular. Historic Times Square. During the 19th century, the area was called Longacre Square, and was primarily home to carriage-making, stables, and brothels. It became Times Square in 1904, when the New York Times opened their distinctive headquarters, with a new subway system hub beneath. In the early 20th century, the area was a glamorous entertainment district, and Times Square attractions included Broadway theaters, nightclubs, movie palaces, restaurants, and hotels. But after the 1950s, the square began a downward spiral. Burlesque gave way to pornography, which was followed by drug dealing and crime. By the 1970s, Times Square was a seedy, dangerous place, as seen in films like Midnight Cowboy and Taxi Driver, which were filmed there. In the 1990s, the city, led by former Mayor Rudy Giuliani, drove out the porno theaters and drug dealers and enticed businesses to move into the area. Times Square has been dramatically transformed into a tourist-friendly entertainment and shopping district. A tour of Times Square, beginning at 42nd Street and Broadway facing north into the square. Look to your left, west. This block with the flashy marquees is the naughty, gaudy, bawdy 42nd Street, celebrated in song and films. It is a microcosm of the square. Once packed with Broadway theaters, it was the glamorous center of nightlife and Times Square attractions. During the Great Depression, theaters gave way to arcades, sideshows, flea circuses, and burlesque, while the surviving theaters began showing second-run films and eventually porn. The sidewalks were filled with drug dealers, thieves, and prostitutes. In 1984, 2,300 crimes were reported on this block alone. The turnaround began in the 90s, when the city took over the block, evicted most businesses, and Disney restored the New Amsterdam Theater. For an inside look at the theater and some of its most memorable productions, don't miss our Disney on Broadway tour. Now the block includes 3 Broadway theaters, an off-Broadway theater, rehearsal studios, 2 multiplex movie theaters, restaurants, a hotel, and, like a return to its sideshow era, Ripley's Believe It or Not and Madame Tussauds. Walk north on Broadway into the square. At 43rd and Broadway, you'll see the compact police station to your left. The area is quite safe, canvassed by police officers, many undercover, and video cameras. On the eastern corner is the NASDAQ market site, epicenter of NASDAQ news and events. Through the glass, you can see their broadcast studio, where over 100 live market updates are taped for networks like CNBC, Bloomberg TV, and Reuters. Paramount Building, NYC. Across 7th Avenue, you will see the distinctive marquee on the Art Deco Paramount Building, which is topped by a 4-sided clock and globe. Both were painted black during World War II to maintain blackout conditions. The marquee now belongs to the Hard Rock Cafe, but once fronted the historic Paramount Theater, a premier movie palace that also hosted performances by Benny Goodman, Glenn Miller, Tommy Dorsey, and Frank Sinatra. Continue 1 block north to the small island at Broadway and 44th Street. Turn around to look back at the towering Times building. This is the landmark, wedge-shaped building that was formerly the headquarters of the New York Times and gave the square its name. It is covered in LED video screens, along with the famous zipper that wraps around the facade. The zipper still provides up-to-the-minute news. This is where New Yorkers learned of election results, the end of both world wars, the assassination of JFK, and the attacks on September 11th. On top of the building, you will see the famous flagpole and, one of the most recognizable Times Square attractions, the crystal ball that annually drops to ring in the new year. New Year's Eve celebrations have taken place here since 1904. Across Broadway, you will see the scrolling electronic marquees on Times Square studios, from which Good Morning America and ABC News programs are broadcast. On the north corner is the large Toys R Us store, which includes a 60-foot indoor Ferris wheel, a life-size T-Rex dinosaur model, and a 4,000-square-foot Barbie dollhouse. Across 7th Avenue is the Minskoff Building, which houses a Broadway theater on its 3rd floor, current home to The Lion King, and MTV Studios behind its 2nd-floor windows. Looking west down 44th Street, you will see some of Broadway's most historic theaters, where shows like Oklahoma, South Pacific, The Music Man, Camelot, and The Phantom of the Opera, still playing as the longest-running Broadway show in history, have premiered. Continue north to 45th and Broadway. You will pass the concrete behemoth Marriott Marquis, the first new hotel built in Times Square in decades. It includes a huge atrium, a Broadway theater, and a revolving restaurant and bar on the 45th floor. There was much controversy over its construction because 5 historic Broadway theaters were demolished. Actors, including Christopher Reeve and Tony Randall, fought to save them. Some even chained themselves to the old theaters to stop the wrecking ball. The block of 45th Street to your left, west, is lined with 6 Broadway theaters, the highest concentration of theaters in the city. 44th and 45th Streets are the heart of the Broadway district. At 46th Street, you will see the flashy American Eagle Outfitters store, which is covered in LED screens featuring videos. Illuminated signs, known as spectaculars, have been a part of Times Square since it was called the Great White Way for its dazzling lights. In fact, there are zoning regulations that require buildings in the square to cover a specific percentage of their facade with illuminated signs. Duffy Square, NYC. Cross 46th Street to enter Duffy Square, named after Father Duffy, a World War I hero whose statue is found in the middle of the island. Before you are the statue of George M. Cohan, the performer, writer, and impresario who wrote Yankee Doodle Dandy, and give my regards to Broadway. Cohan's energy, optimism, and chutzpah set the tone for the emerging Broadway musical. Across Broadway is the Times Square Visitor Center. Located in a historic movie theater, the center offers restrooms, ticket sales to Broadway shows, full price, but one-stop shopping, tours and tourist information, and entertaining exhibits about Times Square, including a replica of the New Year's crystal ball. Next door to the center is the historic Palace Theater, once the pinnacle of the vaudeville world. Only the theater's marquee and entrance are visible since it has been encased by the Doubletree Suites Hotel, which was built on top. The interior of the theater was landmarked but not the exterior, so the hotel bought the air rights, the right to develop above a building, and swallowed it. The theater's brick wall and fire escapes are still visible along 47th Street. At the north end of the square is the TKTS booth, which sells discount, same-day tickets to Broadway and off-Broadway shows. Tickets are usually 50% off full price, so lines can be long. Illuminated signs near the ticket windows display which shows are offered and their discount. Above the booth are the new red glass steps, which offer a wonderful place to relax with people from all over the world. From there, the spectacular panorama of Times Square is like none other. The Times Square Alliance has a wonderful website, full of information about its history, attractions, and events.
这边还没吃完呢。你看它就像人家倒霉鬼的皮啊，对，它其实都不了嘛。
哟，sorry。
Basically go number.
خبزين. The date is here.
예전에 인스타 매대를
famous photo has passed away. Here's Jim Elson.
Times Square, August 14th, 1945. The Japanese had just surrendered when Quartermaster First Class George Mendonça grabbed a stranger, a dental assistant named Greta Zimmer, and planted one on her.
I remember grabbing this, and it was the excitement of the war being over, plus I had a few drinks.
Alfred Eisenstadt's snapshot caught the euphoria of the moment, but it would take another 67 years and modern facial recognition technology to confirm it was the fisherman from Rhode Island.
The best proof there is my date. Her face is seen over the sailor's right shoulder. Nobody can deny that that's not her.
That's right. George was on a date at the time. That's her.
10 will soon be here, and the crowd is gathering in Times Square.
Happy New Year!
This family came all the way from El Paso, Texas, to watch the ball drop.
We drove here from El Paso, Texas. Took us 4 days, and we plan on celebrating coming into the 2010 here in Times Square.
Give hugs and kisses.
This couple came from Jeffersonville, Georgia, for the Times Square festivities.
Came all the way up to watch it. This is my first time. This is our dream to do it. So we were able to do it this year. We're standing in the middle of Times Square.
People here are looking forward to a new decade of new possibilities.
Better world, peace in the world. We can share it together, you know.
I want the peace in the world. I want everyone happy.
I just want peace, love, and happiness for the whole world. And that's all I really want.
The snowy weather did not keep the Times Square street performer, Naked Cowboy, from posing for a few photographs.
Naked Cowboy, you gotta do what you gotta do. What's up? Happy New Year!
Revelers will be braving temperatures in the low 30s, and this snow is forecast to turn into rain. In addition to that, there will be lots and lots of security. No backpacks, no alcoholic beverages, and few bathrooms. Once the square is at capacity, those who leave the area before the ball drops will not be allowed back in. Yesterday, police swarmed over the area after a report of a suspicious van. It turned out to be a false alarm, but shows how police are determined not to allow New Year's Eve here to become vulnerable to terrorists. Ted Chaffrey, The Associated Press, New York.
With just a few minutes left, you really get the sense that everybody here has just kind of taken that final thought of 2009, of the decade, of their friends and family who might be with them, soaking it up, staring at that ball. It's just a magical moment right here from my vantage point. How about you, Allison Stewart?
Isn't it amazing to hear all these people singing Imagine at the same time? It's really, really beautiful. You know, they call Times Square the Crossroads of the world, and it's true. I met people from Seoul, Korea, met someone from France. There's somebody over there from Toledo, Ohio. This couple came all the way from Germany. She's from Romania, close to Transylvania. Why was it so important for you, Nicoletta, to be here in Times Square on New Year's Eve?
We never was in New York, and we said, let's go on the street and enjoy the New Year's Eve in New York.
And from what I've seen, you guys, you have the kissing thing down. I've been watching you the past couple hours. Can you give a little practice for what's going to happen?
Yeah, of course.
Show so far, Carson, but that might change very soon.
Yeah, okay.
For these two.
Save it. Get a room in 2 minutes. Thank you, Allison. Moments to go until 2010 and a new decade. As so many Americans look to emerge from these challenging times, New Year's Eve, always a night for hope and anticipation for prosperous days ahead. And in these final moments of 2009, many reasons for optimism, clear signs of economic recovery as the stock market rebounds, and historic healthcare reform seemingly on the horizon. Yet on this night, we focus not on the issues of the world, but on our family and our friends celebrating another new beginning together. And you get that feeling now. New York's Mayor Michael Bloomberg, moments from now, seconds from now, will be on the countdown stage with his guest, a fantastic group of young people that he just told us about, a collection of 12 students from top New York City public schools. They'll push the button. Some people are having an early kiss as we're about 90 seconds away from a brand new decade. And what a sight it is here to be live and to be with all of you. We hope that you're enjoying this wherever you might be with your family and your friends, as in just a few minutes, it'll be the passing of a new year and we'll be entering a new decade. Let's go to the stage now in the Mayor.